Hello, fabulous friends, fans, and superstars. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of May 12th, 2024. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological week, without a doubt. Big moves happening in the sky now, and they are massive. This is an incredibly important week. And for some, it's going to feel like a roller coaster. For others, it's going to feel like a personal understanding that contributes to a positive momentum going forward from here. It is going to be on Monday. Now, if you're in the Americas, it's very early Monday. In the rest of the world, we go later. Monday, that is when we are going to have the most surprising day of the year. That's what the sun conjunct Uranus, which happens once a year, is considered to be. And we are going to end the week with the luckiest day of the year, which is what the sun conjunct Jupiter is said to be. However, on the same day, we are going to have Venus conjunct Uranus as well, which means it's the most shocking day in love, but it's also really, really fortunate as well. And so here's the thing. When I see such dramatic energies, it means intensity, but it also means that things can change very quickly at this time. And sometimes those changes really are not what we expect, but whatever it is, it works to our advantage. Things could come in, and by things I mean people, places, situations might enter, but they might exit just as quickly as well. At least at the beginning of the week, there's a sense of sort of a larger control, a larger will that we don't necessarily have a say over. People, places, things, situations, making choices, making decisions. Maybe we feel like they affect us. Maybe it looks like it's about us, but it really isn't. It is about whatever needs to happen. And holding on only makes it worse. That's the thing to remember whenever an outer planet is involved, like Uranus, Neptune, or Pluto. Where it is, we try to control things too much, or we try to dictate to the universe what it is to be. That is when we create unnecessary stress or even pain for ourselves. However, we get to the end of the week, and we are going to have the sun meeting Jupiter in the sky. Now that is a blessing. However, there are a couple of things to remember where it comes to Jupiter. And that is, with Jupiter, he needs your participation in order to maximize the potential. It's wonderful to believe. It's wonderful to have faith. That's going to be running really high for a lot of us out there. However, when we know that supportive energies are coming into the mix, it is a good idea to work with them in some way, take some action, however symbolic it is. But there's another thing to take into consideration as well. When we have important conjunctions like we do this week to start and end the week, it suggests that, yes, as much as things may come in, they might also come to a close. This could be a time of fortunate karmic closures for a lot of us out there. And ultimately, these fortunate karmic closures might come with mixed feelings, mixed emotions, or even frustration. We might wish that things were different, but very quickly we start to see how whatever it is that's coming to a close actually is working to our advantage. As much as the surprise can feel like it rushes in possibility, it might feel as if as we look more deeply at what it is that feels like it's new, it's showing us some truth that might be uncomfortable, that we wish were different. And that's when what leaves comes hand in hand with a sense of disappointment or disillusionment that can be part of Jupiter as well. However, with a week like this, whatever takes place really is for our highest good. Now we get to the end of the week, and as I said, on the same day that the sun meets Jupiter, we're going to have Venus meeting Uranus. And that is the most truthful day in love of the year, and money as well to a certain extent. It's the most honest day, looking at where you are in terms of whom you love, how you love. and to understand what it is that needs to change in order to appreciate that you are worthy of a love that deserves you. And I know that that can feel challenging at times, because I look at this and I feel like some of us are going to have a moment where a part of the good fortune, a part of the healing energy that comes in, ultimately invites us to have a sense of ourselves, stand our ground, believe in ourselves in some way. Enough to say what stays and what goes. But ultimately, what stays and what goes really is going to have a will of its own. It's important to stay connected to self. It's important to stay honest with you and to trust our instincts. But with an energy like we have this week, these energies rather, it's like the truth is going to be so obvious. It's going to be so evident that it is very challenging to ignore or to continue to ignore. Regardless of what things seem like on the surface, regardless of what we're being told, it's like the truth must come out. And sometimes that truth is just the truth of what you feel, or the truth of some key connections in your life, or the truth of how you're actually living, your relationship with money. That's Venus. And also the fact that all these big conjunctions are happening in the sign of Taurus. That's where the party is. And Taurus innately has to do with self-love, self-esteem, financial matters. But it's also about matters that have to do with the five senses, the embodiment that is life. And where is it that perhaps we've been so immersed in right here, right now, which is very powerful, but that hasn't really been what's happening. We've been telling ourselves that's what it is. But in actuality, in some way, we might have been kidding ourselves. And that's where the transitions become that much more difficult. Where it is that we had hope, it can be that much harder to accept the truth. But here's the thing, along with these massively important big energies, right? Like I said, the most shocking day of the year to start the week, the luckiest day of the year to end the week. Rare phenomenon here, back to back taking place. It is a special time. But what we have in the midst of it all is energies that invite us in more subtle ways to find that self-honesty and to make the distinction. I feel as I look at the sky that there are going to be people who don't realize that what is actually a massive blessing, because it comes out of nowhere, they think it's something negative or something bad. They think that some truth is so different from what it is that they set out to believe or what they were working towards, that now that this truth has shown up and it gives them freedom, and because it takes them aback, somehow this is a bad thing. And I'm also reminded as I look at this sky of the energy we had a few weeks back. And it was also Uranian energy. And I remember at the time saying, rejection is protection. And I think that's going to be a key for a lot of us out there to remember. Rejection is protection. And that's not just being and feeling that way about a person. Sometimes it's our own feelings that are telling us, no, this isn't the way, this isn't the path, this isn't the person, this isn't the one, this isn't the right opportunity. And it's hard, especially where it is that we've invested so much of ourselves. This is Taurian energy after all. In addition to all I said, this is fixed earth. The fixed signs are those that take place in the middle of a season. And so they have a certain sense of stubbornness to them. And that doesn't need to be a bad thing. Stubbornness is also energy of commitment, of loyalty, of being able to see something through to fruition, of not giving up too soon. These are wonderful qualities, but there are times when life is being really clear with us, whether we should be all in or we really should not be. It is going to be clear, and as much as it is that we can lessen a sense of our own investment so far, the more likely it is that we're able to then take advantage of what transpires. I'm reminded also of what's called the sunken cost fallacy. And the sunken cost fallacy states that because you've already spent time or money or effort or presence, because you've already given so much, that it would be a shame to stop. It would be a shame, and it would not be okay to now have come this far and now change gear, change directions, go another way. But there comes a moment when we realize that even if we spend one more day or one more moment or just a little bit of more effort, we're not actually going to be gaining anything. That life is being really honest with us, is being really clear with us. And that is a type of rejection as well. The fact that we hoped, the fact that we gave, and it's not something that the universe is reciprocating, or another person, place, thing, or situation, it's not meeting us there. Sometimes far from it, the more we do, the more it is we push away what it is that we really want. It can be very hard to cut ties after we've poured so much into a certain direction. But doing that might be just what we need to create that space for the luckiest energy, right? The most hopeful energy of the year to rush in and fill that space that surprise and perhaps for some of us disappointment might create. But I think a lot of this understanding is going to be available to us if we're willing to hear it, if we're willing to listen. And that is because of the smaller supportive energies playing out almost simultaneously. And so one of the more supportive energies playing out under the sky of the most shocking day of the year, we've also got Venus speaking in harmony with Saturn. Venus is in the sign of Taurus as well. And this easy Saturnian energy is going to invite stability. And to me, this is what represents an honest evaluation. Is it that we are continuing to push, continuing to go in a direction because of the sunken cost fallacy? Because we feel we've sacrificed so much, we've come so far that we've got to do more, we've got to push more. At the very least, we're going to find a moment of honesty in between the realization or the surprise. And for some, the realization is going to feel like it just comes out of nowhere, just shows up, something that's been there all along, staring you at the face all along. But now you see it differently, a lot more clearly. And that in turn can be incredibly empowering as well. Interesting as well is that on Tuesday, we are going to have Mercury leave shadow, which means that the larger Mercury retrograde season is good and over. We are now with Mercury on brand new ground. We're not going over old ground anymore. Now consider whatever it is that's happening in your life right around Tuesday, because whatever's taking place in some way is going to speak to, it's going to reflect what was taking place at the very beginning of April for you. You may come to see what happened at that time differently in some way. But for all that, Mercury the next day changes signs, moving into the sign of Taurus, and very quickly moves into a square configuration with Pluto. This is remarkable because this is about the hard truth. This is about needing to be searingly honest with yourself, even when it's hard. And it's also about listening to what people are telling you. There's this very famous quote by Maya Angelou that says, when people show you who they are, believe them. I would add to that, when people tell you who they are, believe them. And that's what we have here, is that life is in its own way being clear, and it's hard to accept, and it's hard to hear. People are being honest, but it's hard still to tell ourselves that what they're clearly laying out is actually what it is. Well, there must be some deeper motivations there, and we might be looking at that for ourselves as well. We're having an instinct, we're having an intuition that's being very clear with us. The inner voice is telling us something, and yet we might find ourselves making excuses. We don't want it to be that way. But again, the more we hold on, especially when the outers are involved, Uranus, Neptune, or Pluto, The more we hold on, the harder we make it for ourselves. But also, the more we hold on, the less space there is for the wonderful to find us, which is a potential and possibility now as well. And so I spoke about how Venus is going to meet Uranus right when Jupiter is going to be meeting the Sun, the luckiest day of the year, and the most shocking day in love of the year. When we navigate further, it is going to be next week that we will have the most romantic day of the year. And so, whatever the journey is right now, the realizations of self, it reaches a deeper heart place as we get to the end of the week and beyond. If it comes, let it. If it goes, let it. The truth will be crystal clear. Whether or not we want to accept it, people, places, things, situations are telling us exactly how it is. If we're willing to stay with a sense of our own inherent worth, a sense of ourselves, and cultivate self-knowledge, it means that other people, places, things, situations can say what they need, can believe what they need. Your self-love, your self-worth, your inherent sense of connection to you isn't wrapped up in it because it's something that stands across or at least outside of whatever might be happening in your external reality. That connection to self is within, and it is constant. The love and dedication to yourself is what just might prove to be the greatest blessing of all at this time. It might be the most luckiest thing of all, coming into awareness that, yeah, I think this is going to happen for a lot of us. Especially those of us who walk around and think, oh, I don't have a lot of self-confidence. I don't really believe in myself. You will likely have a moment, and we will see this playing out with others as well. There may just be a moment where you realize, no, actually, wow, yeah, I think I did just demonstrate a lot of self-love and a self-value there. Or you reflect on matters that already took place and you realize that actually, no, you were present for yourself. You understand something about yourself. Or you get a chance to demonstrate something that you didn't even know was in you before until it popped out. And as it pops out, as it comes forward, you understand that at the foundation of it, the fact that you could respond this way, you could react, you could spontaneously say or do what you did, it actually does come from a place of adamant self-value. And that appreciation is a massive blessing at this time. What comes, let it. What goes, let it. Especially when Jupiter is involved, sometimes the most fortunate thing is what leaves. And sometimes we don't realize just how huge an impact this ending is set to have until we move much further down the road. We've moved past the disappointment, past the pain, to realize that whatever took place right now, although it was hard, it was honest, and although you were hurting, you demonstrated something of yourself, and that demonstration put you on a whole other path towards a more empowered future. I am in the middle of recording right now the Superstar horoscopes, but I had to jump on really quickly. And I just wanted to say that I am seeing all over the internet right now the Aurora Borealis, right? It's all about the Aurora Borealis. Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere, around the planet, people are seeing this, and so many people are saying, I never thought I would see this throughout my life. Now, I am in South Central Ontario. We have 100% clouds today, so there's no Aurora Borealis for me, but that's okay. In perfect time, I'm sure. And I'm very, very happy for all of you guys who are seeing it, because I know what it's like to see something incredible and you go, wow, oh my God, my life is amazing. How it just makes you reflect on what really matters, and out of nowhere, your concept just changes of yourself. And so I hope that so many people are having this moment What I really wanted to say was, I can't think of anything more Sun conjunct Uranus than the fact that the Aurora Borealis is lighting up the planet right now. What could be more Uranian? Everybody's seeing the world differently, realizing the physical earth is alive in a whole other way, changing their relationship with their environment. Sun conjunct Uranus in the sign of Taurus. It is incredible how astrology can be so spot on sometimes. It's amazing. It's amazing being an astrologer. What I love about this week for us, there's so much here. It is a powerful and meaningful astrological moment. I am going to say, well, look, it's a huge astrological week. It is a breakthrough energy and a breakthrough moment. When we think about Uranus, I, really have been diving deep lately into Richard Tarnas's understanding of Uranus, where he aligns the astrological Uranus more with the mythology of Prometheus. Prometheus, who gave humanity fire and was punished for it until he wasn't, until forgiveness set in and sacrifices were made on his behalf. He was in immense pain as part of his suffering, and yet he was able to transcend it. The right moment arrived, and whatever chances he took, because he knew it was the right thing and the good thing, and he did it out of love. He did it out of love for humanity. He saw human beings and he said, wow, they would really get along well if they had fire. And his dad, Jupiter, kept saying, no, 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 don't you do that. Don't you give that to them. And he went ahead and did it anyways. And as a result, Jupiter tied him up to the side of a mountain where every morning an eagle would come, eat his liver, and it would grow back overnight. And then again, that eagle will come, and did that for 1,000 nights. Until Chiron, who was in pain, went to Jupiter and said, look, I'm in pain. I'm going to give you my life. Just let Prometheus live. Forgive the guy. He did what he thought was right. And as a result, Chiron became a constellation, immortal, and Prometheus found peace as a result as well. We are on a pathway towards peace. Uranus is a pathway towards peace. That doesn't mean there isn't also chaos and discomfort and moments that feel unfair. But this week promises a journey. That might just be within ourselves for some of us out there. If you already are one who listens to life regularly and strives to stay connected to self and true to self, well, as you are listening to your life, those breakthroughs, those changes, those uncomfortable moments, they're ultimately oriented around self-knowledge and needing to look at where it is that you've gone as far as you're going to in certain pathways. But for others, it's going to feel like life shakes us. But it's about shaking us loose of the things we no longer need, shaking us so that we become more clear and more honest with us. And all of it ultimately takes us towards the luckiest day of the year, which is also the most healing day of the year as well. Sometimes we don't even know what it is that is ready to be healed or that even needs to be healed until the healing shows up. And with a sky like this, that opportunity to find that profound healing might just come up out of nowhere. And we might realize that those tools, what it is that we needed, we had it within ourselves all along. Well, thank you so much for watching. What do you love about this week? Let me know in the comments below. I love reading you guys, and to prove it to you, here are some of my most recent favorite comments. Thank you to everybody who likes, who comments, who subscribes, who shares, who thumbs up. All of it means so much. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you. It really does help other people to discover this video, to receive these messages. So thank you again for that. And of course, if you want to know how all the wonderful stuff this week speaks to you in your sign, log on to NadiyaShahSuperstars.com, where you get expanded exclusive video scopes for each and every sign for as low as just $3 a month. Would choose your tuition rate, your membership rate. Higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity, university events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Links are in the description below. And of course, with a week like this, remember to re-watch the monthly horoscope for your sign. In that video, I do touch on the most shocking day of the year and the luckiest day of the year for each and every sign out there. I hope that you enjoy them. Synchronicity University has some incredible programs underway right now, and now you can get single classes. So you get to choose what you want to learn, when you want to learn it, and get your single class passes now. I will start with my own class. Underway is the Definitive Relationship course taught by me. This coming week, we're going to be looking at Synastry. Very exciting. The way that two people get along, the way that two charts speak to each other, how we bring the different parts of us to someone, and how someone specific, based on their chart, how are they responding to that, and vice versa. How are we responding to them? I'm going to share some of my favorite techniques where it comes to understanding synastry astrology. So check that out. You can learn more about that and sign up at synchronicityuniversity.com. Also underway right now is the one and only ALEJO LOPEZ, master teacher ALEJO LOPEZ. His class is underway on midpoints, on harmonics, on aspects, and that is also now available to you to sign up one class at a time, depending on what it is you feel inspired to learn. And we also have an incredible speaker series underway right now as well. And with the speaker series, it was just this weekend that the one and only Gemini Brett taught his class. So you should be able to get that as a download now, available at synchronicityuniversity.com, where he talked about the void of course moon. And of course, other people teaching with this incredible speaker series include Marcia Fervienza, teaching on Chiron in astrology. Shelley Stearns taught her class earlier this month, and that is on the second house in the astrology chart. Timon Harwood is going to be teaching on the triplicity of the earth signs, and Jesse Innocent is going to help us to understand karmic astrology. So there's so much to look forward to, all these incredible classes, the class package from Michael Lutin as well, with his favorite techniques, a living legend, continuing his connection to the students here at Synchronicity University. Well, you can learn a lot more about all of these classes and sign up for what you want now at synchronicityuniversity.com. Links are in the description below. And thank you. Thank you so much for this moment with you. Thank you for staying to the end. Thank you for your trust. There are lots of announcements coming starting this week. And so please be on the lookout for that. Check out our newsletter at Synchronicity University and through my website, NadiyaShah.com, and synchronicitypublications.com as well. So look out for those. I'll be sharing them across social media, including here on YouTube. And I hope you love all the new amazing things that are going to be launching this week and next week as well. I am so grateful for your love and your trust, for having the amazing community and audience that I do, for your enthusiasm for all things oriented around love and wisdom. The fact that you're here, I am always so very grateful for it, and I never take it for granted. So just thank you for that so much. I'm going to give you a little bit of a heads up. It is going to be in January that I am going to be speaking at the FAA Astrology Conference in Australia, in Brisbane, Australia, or just outside Brisbane. And it is that conference that is going to have a lot of your favorite astrologers there as well. I'll have lots more information about that. I know I'm giving you a way early heads up, but if you're anywhere near Australia, you want to come out, it would be wonderful to meet, wonderful to hug. I know I'll be passing through Sydney as well, and already some people in Sydney have reached out and said that they were interested in meeting. So I might do something, maybe like a, I don't know, get together somewhere in January for my birthday. So if you're interested in that, also please stay in touch with us and with me here on the different places that you find me online. And again, thank you. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you again for watching. Enjoy the most shocking day of the year and the luckiest day of the year. Often they're like one and the same, right? They tend to be the same thing sometimes. I think that's what a lot of us are going to find now. It's very exciting. It really is. And you know, I think that, spoken as a true Aquarius, I don't think life has enough surprises. I'm just going to say it, and I mean it when I say it. Life doesn't have enough surprises sometimes. And so when it comes along, before you judge it, just relish it for just a moment, how quickly things can change. Because when you do that, I promise you, you'll see how quickly they can change for the better as well. Thank you again. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.